The morning sun cast long shadows across the military training compound as General Marcus Thompson made his routine inspection rounds. At 58, he had seen more battlefields than most soldiers could imagine, his chest adorned with ribbons that told stories of courage under fire. Today felt different, though, as whispers had been circulating about an exceptional marksman who had been quietly breaking records at the advanced sniper school. Sarah Chen had arrived at the compound 3 months earlier, her slight frame and quiet demeanor causing some of the instructors to exchange skeptical glances. At 26, she stood barely 5 feet 4 inches tall, her black hair pulled back in a regulation bun that revealed determined, dark eyes. She had transferred from the regular infantry after scoring perfect marks in preliminary marksmanship tests, but the sniper program was an entirely different beast. The Barrett .50 caliber rifle lay before her on the shooting mat, its massive frame dwarfing her petite build. This weapon, weighing nearly 30 pounds when fully loaded, was designed to engage targets at extreme distances with devastating precision. Most soldiers struggled with its powerful recoil, but Sarah had spent countless hours mastering its intricacies. Her instructor, Sergeant Major Rodriguez, had been training snipers for 15 years and had never seen anything quite like her natural ability. During her first week, while other recruits were still learning basic breathing techniques, Sarah was consistently hitting targets at 800 meters. By the second month, she was engaging successfully at distances that challenged even seasoned marksmen. The other trainees initially viewed her with curiosity mixed with doubt. Military culture, despite progressive changes, still harbored pockets of old-school thinking about women in combat roles. Some whispered that she would crack under pressure, that the physical demands would prove too much, or that she lacked the killer instinct necessary for the job. Sarah never responded to the comments or challenges with words. Instead, she let her rifle do the talking. Each morning, she would arrive at the range before dawn, methodically checking her equipment and running through mental calculations. Wind speed, humidity, temperature, target distance, and bullet drop all became variables in complex equations that she solved instinctively. The psychological aspects of sniper training proved equally challenging. Unlike regular combat where soldiers fought alongside their units, snipers often operated alone or in pairs, sometimes lying motionless for hours waiting for the perfect shot. They had to remain calm under extreme pressure, make split-second decisions that could mean life or death for their fellow soldiers, and live with the weight of each trigger pull. During one particularly difficult exercise, Sarah and her training partner were tasked with infiltrating a mock enemy position and eliminating specific high-value targets without being detected. They crawled through dense undergrowth for over 6 hours, their ghillie suits blending seamlessly with the forest floor. When the moment came, Sarah's shot was so precise that the training observers had to check their equipment to confirm the hit. As weeks turned into months, her reputation began to spread beyond the training compound. Range officers from other units would find excuses to observe her sessions. Her scores were being quietly discussed in military circles, with some veterans refusing to believe the reports until they witnessed her abilities firsthand. The pinnacle of sniper training involved a series of increasingly difficult challenges, culminating in the ultimate test, engaging targets at 3,200 meters. This distance pushed the boundaries of what was considered possible with standard military equipment. Factors like the Earth's rotation, atmospheric pressure, and minute wind variations became critical components that could mean the difference between success and failure. Sarah approached this final challenge with the same methodical preparation that had characterized her entire training. She spent hours studying weather patterns, calculating ballistic trajectories, and fine-tuning her equipment. The night before the test, she cleaned her Barrett with the reverence of a craftsman caring for a precious tool. The morning of the long-distance shoot, a small crowd of instructors and fellow trainees gathered at the observation post. Sarah took her position, adjusted her scope, and began the mental checklist that had become second nature. The target, barely visible even through high-powered optics, seemed impossibly far away. Her breathing slowed to an almost meditative rhythm as she made final adjustments for wind and elevation. The moment stretched endlessly as she found that perfect balance between heartbeats where her body remained completely still. The trigger broke cleanly, the massive rifle bucking against her shoulder as the .50 caliber round began its journey across more than 2 miles of open terrain. Seconds ticked by before the spotter confirmed what everyone had witnessed through their scopes. A perfect center mass hit at 3,200 meters. The range fell silent as the implications sank in. Sarah had not only passed the test, but had done so, with a precision that would have impressed Olympic shooters. Word of her achievement spread rapidly through military channels, eventually reaching the desk of General Thompson. Her file made for fascinating reading. Consistently perfect scores, innovative tactical thinking, and a calm professionalism that impressed even the most hardened instructors. But statistics on paper, however impressive, told only part of the story. General Thompson closed Sarah's file and leaned back in his leather chair, processing what he had just read. In his decades of military service, he had encountered perhaps a dozen soldiers who possessed truly exceptional abilities that set them apart from their peers. The reports about Chen suggested she might be one of those rare individuals whose skills transcended normal human limitations. The Barrett .50 caliber sniper system had been introduced to the military in the 1980s, designed primarily for long-range precision shooting and material destruction. Its effective range extended well beyond 2 kilometers, but achieving consistent accuracy at maximum distances required not just technical skill but an almost supernatural understanding of ballistics and environmental factors. Sarah's achievement at 3,200 meters placed her in an elite category occupied by fewer than a dozen military snipers worldwide. The general had personally known some of the legendary marksmen whose names were whispered with reverence in military circles, and Chen's performance metrics suggested she belonged in their company. Meanwhile, back at the training compound, Sarah's daily routine continued unchanged despite her newfound recognition. She understood that exceptional performance in training meant nothing without the ability to apply those skills under real combat conditions. The controlled environment of a shooting range, however challenging, could never fully replicate the chaos and stress of actual warfare. Her training partners had gradually shifted from skepticism to genuine respect. Martinez, a former Marine with 2 combat deployments, admitted privately that he had never seen anyone master the technical aspects of long-range shooting so quickly. Even Rodriguez, who maintained professional distance from all his trainees, found himself studying her techniques and incorporating her innovations into his instruction methods. The psychological evaluation reports painted a picture of remarkable mental resilience. Military psychologists had subjected Sarah to extensive testing, designed to identify potential weaknesses or breaking points. Standard stress tests that rattled even experienced soldiers seemed to have minimal impact on her performance levels. During one particularly intensive exercise, instructors had introduced multiple distractions while she attempted precision shots, explosions, smoke, shouting, and simulated enemy fire. While other trainees showed measurable degradation in accuracy under these conditions, Sarah's performance remained virtually unchanged. Her ability to compartmentalize external stimuli and maintain focus bordered on the extraordinary. The sniper program also emphasized fieldcraft skills that went far beyond marksmanship. Snipers needed to master camouflage, stalking, observation, and survival techniques that allowed them to operate independently behind enemy lines. Sarah approached these challenges with the same methodical precision she brought to shooting. Her ghillie suit construction became a work of art, incorporating local vegetation and materials to create nearly perfect concealment. During training exercises, she would disappear into terrain so effectively that search teams equipped with thermal imaging struggled to locate her position. This ability to become invisible in plain sight represented another crucial component of sniper warfare. Navigation and land-reading skills proved equally important. Snipers often operated in unfamiliar territory, where GPS systems might be compromised or unavailable. Sarah demonstrated an intuitive understanding of topography, using subtle terrain features to plot routes that maximized concealment while providing optimal shooting positions. The intelligence-gathering aspect of sniper operations required different skills entirely. Beyond eliminating high-value targets, snipers served as the eyes and ears of military units, providing detailed reconnaissance that could influence strategic decisions. Sarah's observational abilities and attention to detail made her reports invaluable training resources. Her equipment maintenance standards exceeded even the program's rigorous requirements. The Barrett .50 system demanded meticulous care to maintain its precision capabilities, and Sarah treated every component with the attention of a master craftsman. She could field strip and reassemble the rifle blindfolded, identifying potential problems through touch and sound. Ammunition selection and preparation became another area where her perfectionist nature manifested. She learned to inspect each round individually, measuring powder charges and bullet weights to identify the most consistent ammunition for specific shooting conditions. This attention to detail, while time-consuming, resulted in measurably improved accuracy. The physical demands of sniper operations tested her in ways that traditional fitness training could not address. Remaining motionless for hours while maintaining alertness required extraordinary mental discipline. Sarah developed meditation techniques that allowed her to remain comfortable and focused during extended observation periods. Her shooting positions adapted to terrain and tactical requirements, demonstrating flexibility that impressed veteran instructors. Whether prone, sitting, or shooting from improvised rests, she maintained consistent accuracy across all positions. This adaptability would prove crucial in combat situations where ideal shooting conditions rarely existed. Range estimation skills developed through constant practice with various optical systems. Sarah could accurately judge distances using both technological aids and traditional techniques like mil-dot calculations. This capability proved essential when laser rangefinders were unavailable or might compromise her position through enemy detection. Communication protocols for sniper teams required precise, economical language that conveyed maximum information with minimal radio traffic. Sarah's background and natural tendency toward careful speech made her communications models of clarity and efficiency that other trainees studied and emulated. The academic components of sniper training covered ballistics, meteorology, and tactical theory. Sarah absorbed this information voraciously, often staying late in the classroom to explore advanced concepts beyond the standard curriculum. Her test scores consistently ranked at the top of her class across all subjects. The graduation ceremony for Sarah's sniper class took place on a crisp autumn morning that painted the training compound in brilliant colors. 27 soldiers had begun the program 6 months earlier, but only 14 remained to receive their graduation certificates and the coveted sniper badge that marked them as members of one of the military's most elite fraternities. Sarah stood at attention with her classmates, her uniform crisp and her bearing reflecting the confidence that months of intensive training had instilled. The ceremony itself was deliberately understated, reflecting the sniper community's preference for operating away from public attention and recognition. Colonel Williams, the base commander, delivered remarks emphasizing the responsibility that came with their new designation. Snipers, he reminded them, often operated with minimal supervision in situations where their decisions could affect entire missions. The trust placed in them by their fellow soldiers and commanders represented both an honor and a burden. When Sarah's name was called, she stepped forward to receive her certificate and badge with the same quiet professionalism that had characterized her entire training experience. The 200-meter qualification badge she had earned represented an achievement that fewer than 50 active military personnel worldwide could claim. Rodriguez presented her award with genuine pride, knowing that he had witnessed something truly exceptional during her training. In his 15 years of instruction, he had seen talented shooters and dedicated soldiers, but never someone who combined both qualities to Sarah's degree while maintaining such remarkable composure under pressure. The celebration that evening remained low-key, reflecting the close-knit nature of the sniper community. Sarah accepted congratulations graciously, but spent most of the evening discussing technical aspects of long-range shooting with instructors and fellow graduates. Her passion for the craft remained purely professional, focused on continuous improvement rather than personal recognition. Orders arrived the following week, assigning Sarah to an elite reconnaissance unit preparing for deployment to a volatile region where her skills would face their ultimate test. The transition from training environment to operational unit brought new challenges as she integrated with soldiers who had extensive combat experience. Staff Sergeant Williams, her new team leader, had initially expressed reservations about receiving a female sniper fresh from training. His concerns vanished during their first joint exercise when Sarah's performance validated every glowing report in her file. Her ability to remain invisible while providing overwatch for the team exceeded his expectations. The pre-deployment training phase pushed everyone to their limits as they prepared for the complex operational environment they would soon face. Sarah's role extended beyond traditional sniper duties to include reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, and force protection responsibilities that required mastery of multiple skill sets. Her integration with the team progressed smoothly, as her quiet competence earned respect from even the most skeptical veterans. During night navigation exercises, she consistently reached objectives ahead of schedule while maintaining perfect stealth discipline. Her land navigation skills proved particularly valuable in terrain where GPS signals were unreliable. Equipment customization became a crucial preparation phase as each team member tailored their gear for specific mission requirements. Sarah worked closely with the unit armorer to optimize her Barrett system for the environmental conditions they expected to encounter during deployment. The psychological preparation for combat operations involved briefings on enemy tactics, local customs, and rules of engagement that would govern their actions. Sarah studied these materials with characteristic thoroughness, understanding that tactical mistakes in the field could have consequences far beyond mission failure. Physical conditioning intensified as deployment approached, with training scenarios designed to replicate the stress and fatigue of extended combat operations. Sarah's smaller stature initially concerned some team members, but her endurance and mental toughness quickly dispelled any doubts about her ability to handle the physical demands. Team-building exercises fostered the trust and communication essential for successful special operations. Sarah's reserved personality gradually opened as she developed genuine friendships with her teammates, who appreciated her dry sense of humor and unwavering reliability. Advanced medical training prepared all team members to handle battlefield injuries when professional medical support was unavailable. Sarah demonstrated the same meticulous attention to detail in learning trauma care procedures that she brought to marksmanship. Training communication protocols for their operational area required learning new procedures and equipment designed to maintain contact with headquarters while minimizing the risk of enemy interception. Sarah's technical aptitude made her the team's backup communication specialist. Cultural awareness training provided insights into local customs and beliefs that could affect mission success. Understanding the human terrain proved as important as mastering the physical geography, and Sarah absorbed this information with the same intensity she had shown throughout her military career. The final training exercise before deployment tested every skill they had developed while operating under realistic combat conditions. Sarah's performance during this evaluation confirmed her readiness for operational deployment and earned final approval from unit commanders who had initially harbored reservations. General Thompson reviewed the unit's readiness reports with particular attention to Sarah's evaluations. Her consistent excellence across all training phases suggested that his decision to personally observe her performance during his upcoming inspection visit would be time well spent. The inspection schedule showed him arriving at the compound just as Sarah's team conducted their final live-fire exercise before deployment. This timing would provide an ideal opportunity to observe her abilities under realistic conditions rather than in the controlled environment of routine training exercises. His aide briefed him on the exercise parameters, noting that the scenario would test long-range precision shooting under time pressure while coordinating with other team members. These conditions would provide an excellent demonstration of Sarah's abilities, while highlighting the teamwork essential for special operations success. The morning of General Thompson's inspection arrived with unusual activity throughout the compound, as soldiers prepared for his visit. Word had spread that this was not a routine inspection, but rather a personal assessment of the unit's readiness for their upcoming deployment to one of the world's most dangerous operational theaters. Sarah arrived at the armory before dawn to conduct her pre-exercise equipment checks, a ritual that had become second nature during months of training. The Barrett 50 gleamed under the fluorescent lights as she methodically inspected every component, from the massive muzzle brake to the precision-machined bolt assembly. Her spotter and teammate, Corporal Jackson, joined her as she completed her preparations. Jackson, a veteran of 2 previous deployments, had initially doubted whether anyone fresh from training could handle the pressures of real combat operations. Sarah's consistent performance during their partnership had completely changed his perspective. The exercise scenario called for their team to infiltrate a mock enemy position and eliminate specific high-value targets, while providing overwatch for a simulated rescue operation. Success required perfect coordination between multiple elements operating across several kilometers of challenging terrain. Sarah and Jackson moved to their assigned position well before the official exercise began, using the extra time to study the terrain and identify potential shooting positions. Their hide location offered excellent concealment while providing clear lines of sight to all probable target areas. General Thompson arrived at the observation post precisely on schedule, accompanied by his aide and several senior officers from the training command. The group took positions that allowed them to monitor the exercise through high-powered optics while remaining hidden from the participants below. The general immediately focused his attention on Sarah's position, though her camouflage was so effective that even knowing her approximate location, he struggled to identify her exact hiding spot. This level of concealment impressed him more than any shooting score could have, demonstrating mastery of fieldcraft that separated true snipers from mere marksmen. Radio traffic crackled as the exercise commenced, with the assault team beginning their approach to the primary objective. Sarah's voice came across the command frequency with calm professionalism as she reported enemy positions and provided intelligence updates that would guide the approaching friendly forces. Her first shot came 43 minutes into the exercise, a precisely timed elimination of a sentry who threatened to compromise the rescue operation. The target fell at 1,147 meters, well within her capabilities but requiring rapid target acquisition and engagement under pressure from multiple observers. General Thompson watched through his spotting scope as Sarah smoothly worked the Barrett's bolt action, chambering a fresh round while never losing sight picture on the target area. Her movements displayed the fluid efficiency that marked a shooter completely comfortable with their equipment and capabilities. The second engagement proved more challenging as multiple targets appeared simultaneously across different ranges and elevations. Sarah had to prioritize threats while coordinating with Jackson to ensure accurate range estimation and wind corrections for the varying distances involved. Her target selection demonstrated tactical thinking that went beyond pure marksmanship skills. Rather than simply engaging the nearest threats, she identified and eliminated targets whose positions would most effectively support the ongoing rescue operation while maintaining her team's concealment. The third shot, at 2,250 meters, pushed the Barrett system near its effective range while accounting for a crosswind that had been steadily increasing throughout the morning. Sarah's compensation calculations proved perfect as the target dropped immediately upon impact, drawing impressed murmurs from the observation post. Jackson's voice provided steady updates through their radio link, confirming hits and providing target assessments that demonstrated the seamless teamwork essential for sniper operations. His spotting skills complemented Sarah's shooting abilities perfectly, creating a partnership that functioned with remarkable efficiency. General Thompson found himself leaning forward as he observed Sarah's shooting positions and techniques. Every aspect of her performance reflected textbook precision, executed with confidence that suggested extensive practical experience rather than recent training completion. The exercise climax arrived when enemy reinforcements threatened to overwhelm the rescue team unless Sarah could eliminate multiple targets in rapid succession. This scenario tested not only marksmanship skills but also the mental toughness required to perform under extreme pressure. Sarah's breathing remained controlled as she engaged 4 targets across different ranges within 90 seconds, a display of shooting prowess that left even veteran observers stunned. Each shot found its mark despite the need for rapid repositioning and constant ballistic calculations. Her final engagement required a shot through a narrow window at 2,134 meters, while accounting for wind deflection and the target's partial concealment. The bullet's trajectory took it through an opening barely larger than the projectile itself, demonstrating precision that bordered on the impossible. The exercise concluded with complete mission success, largely attributable to Sarah's Overwatch performance and tactical intelligence. Her shooting statistics showed 100% accuracy across 7 engagements, ranging from 1,200 to 2,650 meters under varying conditions. Post-exercise debrief revealed the full scope of her contribution to mission success. Beyond the confirmed eliminations, her reconnaissance reports had identified enemy positions and movement patterns that allowed friendly forces to avoid potential ambushes and casualties. General Thompson remained at the observation post as other participants moved to the debrief area, continuing to study Sarah's position through his optics. Even knowing exactly where she lay hidden, her camouflage remained so effective that movement was barely detectable. The Barrett 50 that had seemed almost comically oversized for her small frame now appeared as natural as any tool in the hands of a master craftsman. Her manipulation of the massive weapon displayed familiarity that spoke to countless hours of dedicated practice and training. As the general prepared to move closer for a personal meeting, he reflected on what he had witnessed. In 4 decades of military service, he had observed many exceptional soldiers, but Sarah's combination of technical skill, tactical thinking, and unshakable composure suggested capabilities that transcended normal human limitations. Her performance validated every superlative in her training records while raising questions about how such remarkable abilities had emerged so quickly in someone with no prior special operations experience. The answers to those questions would require a face-to-face conversation. General Thompson descended from the observation post with deliberate steps, his mind processing the implications of what he had just witnessed. In his extensive career, he had learned to distinguish between exceptional performance and truly revolutionary capability, and Sarah's demonstration fell decidedly into the latter category. The path to Sarah's position wound through dense undergrowth that would have challenged most soldiers, but the general navigated it with the confidence of someone who had spent decades in similar terrain. His aide followed closely, taking notes on observations that would later become part of official reports. Sarah remained in position, maintaining overwatch responsibilities even though the formal exercise had concluded. Professional discipline demanded that she stay alert until officially released from duty, regardless of any distinguished visitors who might be approaching her location. Her camouflage proved so effective that General Thompson walked within 10 feet of her, positioned before Jackson's voice quietly announced the general's approach through their communication link. Even then, identifying her exact location required careful observation despite knowing she lay somewhere in the immediate vicinity. When Sarah finally acknowledged his presence by rising from her concealed position, the general experienced genuine surprise at how completely she had blended with the natural environment. The ghillie suit she wore incorporated local vegetation so skillfully that she seemed to materialize from the forest floor itself. The Barrett 50, that had been the instrument of her remarkable shooting demonstration, lay beside her with its massive bulk somehow diminished by her casual familiarity with the weapon. General Thompson noted how naturally she handled the 30-pound rifle, manipulating it with the same ease most soldiers showed with much lighter weapons. His first words acknowledged the extraordinary performance he had just observed while avoiding the excessive praise that might embarrass a professional soldier. Sarah's response reflected the quiet confidence that had characterized her throughout training, accepting his comments with appropriate military courtesy, but without false modesty. General Thompson's questions probed beyond surface achievements to understand the foundation of her exceptional abilities. Sarah's answers revealed a background that included competitive shooting from an early age, mathematical training that enhanced her ballistic calculations, and a natural spatial intelligence that accelerated her mastery of complex skills. Her civilian shooting experience had involved precision rifle competitions where success demanded many of the same skills required for military sniping. However, the transition from sport shooting to combat applications required psychological adjustments that not every talented marksman could successfully navigate. The general's inquiry about her motivation for pursuing sniper training revealed a thoughtful individual who understood the serious nature of her chosen profession. Sarah spoke about service to her fellow soldiers and the satisfaction of mastering demanding skills rather than any desire for personal recognition or glory. Her technical knowledge impressed the general as much as her practical abilities had during the exercise. Sarah could discuss ballistic coefficients, atmospheric effects, and equipment capabilities with the expertise of someone who had studied every aspect of long-range precision shooting rather than simply following training instructions. Jackson joined the conversation to provide his perspective on their partnership and Sarah's integration with the team. His enthusiasm for her abilities was tempered by professional respect for her tactical thinking and reliability under pressure. qualities that mattered more than pure shooting skill in actual combat situations. The general's examination of Sarah's equipment revealed the meticulous care she devoted to maintaining peak performance from every component. Her rifle showed signs of extensive use but remained in perfect condition, while her accessories and support gear demonstrated thoughtful selection and professional maintenance. Personal equipment inspection extended to her field gear, where the same attention to detail was evident in every item. Sarah could explain the reasoning behind each piece of equipment she carried, from specialized tools to emergency supplies, demonstrating tactical thinking that went far beyond basic training requirements. Her logbook contained detailed records of every shot fired during training, complete with environmental conditions, equipment settings, and performance analysis. This documentation reflected a scientific approach to skill development that impressed someone of the general's experience and education. The conversation gradually expanded to include tactical scenarios and hypothetical challenges that tested Sarah's understanding of sniper employment beyond basic marksmanship. Her responses revealed sophisticated thinking about target prioritization, position selection, and mission planning that exceeded expectations for someone fresh from training. General Thompson's questions about stress management and psychological preparation elicited thoughtful responses that demonstrated mature understanding of the mental challenges inherent in sniper operations. Sarah's approach to maintaining focus and controlling anxiety showed wisdom that typically developed only through extensive experience. Her awareness of the broader implications of sniper operations impressed the general perhaps more than her shooting abilities had. Sarah understood that her actions could affect strategic outcomes and carried that responsibility with appropriate seriousness while maintaining the confidence necessary for effective performance. The discussion of her upcoming deployment revealed careful preparation and realistic expectations about the challenges she would face. Sarah had studied the operational environment thoroughly and understood both the tactical situation and the cultural factors that would influence mission success. General Thompson's assessment of her readiness for combat operations was forming as their conversation continued. Every aspect of her preparation, from technical skills to psychological readiness, suggested that she would transition successfully from training to operational employment despite her lack of prior combat experience. The 3,200-meter qualification badge on her uniform represented more than exceptional marksmanship. It symbolized the dedication and natural ability that had brought her to this point in her military career. The general's recognition of its significance would shape decisions that extended far beyond this single meeting. As their conversation neared its conclusion, General Thompson found himself considering opportunities that could maximize Sarah's contribution to military operations while providing her with challenges worthy of her exceptional abilities. Such talent appeared rarely and deserved careful nurturing to reach its full potential. The afternoon sun cast longer shadows across the training compound as General Thompson concluded his conversation with Sarah, but his assessment of her capabilities was far from complete. What he had witnessed during the exercise and learned through their discussion suggested potential that extended well beyond conventional sniper employment. Sarah's combination of technical excellence, tactical thinking, and psychological stability represented a convergence of qualities that appeared perhaps once in a generation. The general had encountered legendary snipers whose names were spoken with reverence throughout military circles, and her performance metrics suggested she belonged in their company. The implications of her abilities extended beyond individual achievement to strategic considerations about optimal employment of such exceptional talent. Traditional deployment with a standard reconnaissance unit, while providing valuable experience, might not fully utilize capabilities that could affect outcomes at much higher levels of military operations. General Thompson's aide had been taking detailed notes throughout the observation and conversation, documentation that would become part of reports reaching the highest levels of military command. Sarah's performance would be studied and analyzed by specialists who understood the rarity of her demonstrated abilities. The Barrett 50 system that had been the instrument of her remarkable shooting demonstration represented more than advanced military technology. In Sarah's hands, it became a precision instrument capable of affecting tactical and strategic outcomes across unprecedented distances. Her mastery of the weapon's capabilities suggested applications that standard training scenarios could not fully explore. Her upcoming deployment with the reconnaissance unit would provide the real-world testing that no training environment could replicate. Combat operations would reveal whether her exceptional training performance could translate into mission success under the chaos and uncertainty of actual warfare. The general's departure from the compound was delayed by additional conversations with training staff who provided detailed assessments of Sarah's development throughout the sniper program. Every instructor who had worked with her offered similar observations about her exceptional natural ability and dedication to continuous improvement. Rodriguez, her primary instructor, expressed confidence that Sarah would not only succeed in combat operations, but would likely establish new standards for sniper performance. His 15 years of training experience provided credibility to assessments that might otherwise seem excessively optimistic. The psychological evaluation reports that General Thompson, reviewed during his return journey, painted a picture of remarkable mental resilience and adaptability. Military psychologists had subjected Sarah to extensive testing, designed to identify potential breaking points or performance limitations, finding none that would preclude successful combat deployment. Her stress response patterns, reaction times, and decision-making processes under pressure all fell well outside normal statistical ranges in directions that indicated superior performance capabilities. These characteristics, combined with her technical skills, suggested that she might thrive under combat conditions that degraded most soldiers' effectiveness. The general's preliminary report, dictated during his flight back to headquarters, emphasized the strategic implications of Sarah's capabilities, while recommending careful consideration of her optimal employment. Such exceptional talent deserved assignments that would maximize its contribution to military objectives. Within 48 hours of his visit, secure communications channels carried messages between senior commanders discussing Sarah's potential assignment to special operations units that could better utilize her extraordinary abilities. Her demonstrated performance had attracted attention at levels typically reserved for much more senior personnel. The deployment orders that arrived the following week contained subtle modifications that would place Sarah's unit in operational areas where her long-range capabilities would prove most valuable. These changes reflected high-level decisions influenced by the general's assessment and recommendations. Sarah's preparation for deployment continued with characteristic thoroughness, unaware that her performance had generated discussions reaching the highest levels of military command. Her focus remained on mission readiness and team integration, rather than personal recognition or career advancement. The specialized equipment package that accompanied her deployment orders included modifications and enhancements that reflected official recognition of her exceptional capabilities. The upgraded optical systems and precision ammunition represented investments that underscored the value placed on her contribution to mission success. Her final training exercises before deployment provided opportunities to validate the new equipment while demonstrating continued improvement in already exceptional performance levels. Sarah's shooting scores showed measurable enhancement even beyond her previous achievements, suggesting that her abilities were still developing. The 200-meter qualification badge that had initially caught General Thompson's attention now represented just one milestone in what promised to be an extraordinary military career. Her demonstrated capabilities suggested potential for achievements that would establish new standards for precision marksmanship and tactical employment. Team integration exercises confirmed the successful bonding between Sarah and her operational partners, addressing earlier concerns about how a female soldier fresh from training would mesh with veteran special operations personnel. Her quiet competence and professional reliability had earned genuine respect from the most skeptical team members. The deployment ceremony that marked their departure was deliberately low-key, reflecting the classified nature of their mission and the special operations community's preference for avoiding public attention. Sarah stood with her teammates as a trusted member of an elite unit whose capabilities would soon face the ultimate test of combat operations. General Thompson's final assessment report concluded with recommendations that would influence Sarah's career trajectory for years to come. His recognition of her exceptional abilities ensured that she would receive opportunities commensurate with her demonstrated potential. assignments that would challenge even her remarkable capabilities. The Barrett 50 that had been the instrument of her initial recognition now traveled with her toward operational deployment, where it would serve as the primary tool through which her extraordinary abilities would contribute to mission success. The weapon that had once seemed oversized for her small frame now appeared perfectly suited to her exceptional skills. As their transport disappeared into the distance, carrying Sarah and her team toward their operational assignment, the training compound returned to its normal routine. However, the standards she had established during her time there would influence instruction methods and performance expectations for future sniper candidates who would struggle to match her unprecedented achievements.